I'm 7 weeks postpartum. So, my mother-in-law started being really invasive in my last month of pregnancy. She started coming over constantly, uninvited. And it was always at the most inconvenient times as well. Every time I was trying to catch up on sleep, and the second that I would start dozing off, she would be at my door. Never failed. I stopped answering the door for her, just to have my husband blow up my phone and say to open the door because his mom was there. Then I went into false labor, and she showed up at the hospital expecting me to let her in the delivery room. She never asked us or anything. She literally showed up during a cervical check and sat down with my husband and put her hand on his leg and said, "I'm just here to hold my baby up." The nurses were frazzled because she literally just walked in like she owned the place. It was 3 a.m., so they were short-staffed and didn't see her walk into the ward. Anyways, I've had a bad taste in my mouth since then. She was told several times that she was being overbearing and she would stop for a bit and start back up again when it was forgotten. But after I had the baby, she was showing up easily 3 times a week. I didn't say anything originally because my husband was super anxious and the added support was nice for him, despite being inconvenient and irritating to me. Especially given that she has no interest in the baby, but has invited people over here to see the baby without asking. She showed up here with my sister-in-law and my sister-in-law's 2 kids when I was a week postpartum and didn't ask or anything. It's irritating, and 2 weeks ago, I finally snapped. I said she needs to stay away for the foreseeable future because I'm tired of her inviting herself into my home and taking up space. She's held the baby twice in the 30+ times she's been here. She doesn't help us with anything. My husband told her to stay away for a while because I needed space. But last night, around 6 p.m., she randomly shows up at our door. I had just gotten out of the shower and was hanging out unclothed in my living room, nursing the baby. My husband asked me to get dressed so he could just let her in for a minute, and I said absolutely not. I didn't invite her here. He could go outdoors if he wanted, but I'm not getting dressed so she can come in after showing up uninvited. She said she spoke to my husband, and he told her she could come over, but he didn't give her a yes on coming over. He told her he would talk to me about it, and she just showed up 2 hours later. He says I'm pushing away his mom for no good reason. I argue that I was forced into this by overbearing and disrespectful behavior. I say since she doesn't respect me or the baby, she doesn't need to be here right now. He's saying, it's my kid too. I should have a say in who's here. ETA. I did post in a comment as it was asked. But no, my husband is 100% spineless when it comes to his mother because she inflicted strong abandonment issues on him, and now he's just happy to have her back in his life. She gave custody of him to her oldest daughter, who was 22 at the time, when he was 6, because she wanted to go live with her new boyfriend, who was kid-free. From the time he was 6 until he was 17, she only saw him on Thanksgiving and Christmas because she moved to Canada with this boyfriend. Her and her boyfriend split up when he was 18, and she moved back to New Hampshire and was actively a part of his life again. He was still living with his sister when I met him at age 21, and we moved in together. We have been together for 6 years. She was only coming over to see us maybe 3 times a year prior to the last month of my pregnancy, when she felt it necessary to be at our place every other day or every 2 days. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. She is way over the line. But as always in this situation, you don't have a mother-in-law problem, you have a husband problem. You just had a baby. You and the baby should be his priorities, not his mother. He needs to support you and put his foot down. Comment 2. Not the idiot. You have already been extremely patient with your mother-in-law. She has crossed the line multiple times, and your husband needs to stop prioritizing his mother over you. Comment 3. Not the idiot. You need peace to nurse. Tell him she can be scheduled to come once a week, or he can go have coffee with her if he needs support. That is your compromise. Now, for the update. After the blow-up with my mother-in-law and the heart-to-heart with my husband about boundaries, things slowly started to change. It wasn't immediate, and it wasn't easy, but I wanted to share this update because I know how much support I've received from this community when I felt at my wits' end. Last month, my husband agreed to start couples therapy with me. It's been incredibly eye-opening for both of us. He's been learning to understand how his past with his mother has affected his current relationships, and I've been learning to communicate better and be more understanding of his feelings. Now, the truly heartwarming part. My mother-in-law reached out and actually apologized. She sent a letter, handwritten, acknowledging that she overstepped and that her actions were not okay. She explained how excited she was to be a grandmother, but realized she lost sight of the fact that we are a new family needing our space. She asked if she could start over, respecting our rules and boundaries. We decided to take a chance and sat down with her to outline what we're comfortable with. We set up specific visiting days and times and made it clear that unexpected visits were not acceptable. Since then, she's kept to the schedule and has been incredibly helpful when she does come over. Last week, she babysat for the first time while my husband and I went out for a much-needed date night. We came back to a sleeping baby, a clean kitchen, and a note thanking us for trusting her with our son. It felt like a huge step forward. My husband's relationship with his mom is slowly mending. They're having conversations that I think they've needed to have for years. It's not perfect, and I doubt it ever will be, but it's progress. Seeing my husband hold our son and knowing he's working on breaking the cycle and building a healthier relationship with his mother fills me with hope. It's been a roller coaster, but right now, it feels like we're on a gentle, upward climb. Thank you all for your advice and support. It's been a tough journey, but we're getting there, one step at a time. Now, for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Setting boundaries is a crucial step in any healthy relationship, and it's great to see that your mother-in-law respects them. It's even better that she's making an effort to apologize and improve the dynamic. Therapy is a game changer, and I'm glad it's helping your family heal and grow stronger together. It takes a lot of maturity to handle such situations with grace. Comment 2. You're the idiot for expecting your mother-in-law to adhere to a strict visiting schedule. Relationships are about compromise, not control. While it's great that you're in therapy, it seems like you're enjoying the power dynamic a bit too much. Maybe consider that your mother-in-law is trying and that flexibility can also be a part of healthy boundaries. Comment 3. Not the idiot at all. It's inspiring to see how therapy can turn things around and how an apology can go a long way. You've managed to create a structured environment that benefits everyone, especially with designated visiting times. It's giving your children a chance to bond with their grandma in a positive setting. Kudos to you for navigating this with such patience and determination. Now, for the next story. My wife, 32 years old, and I, 33 years old, have been married for 5 years. We're both from Florida, but moved to another state a year ago. We jointly own a house back in Florida, which we turned into a rental property and rents out to Hubert, a retiree who is in his 80s and is a very good tenant. Hubert has no family or caretakers. He can move himself around and live on his own. Okay, but is pretty frail. So whenever my wife and I travel back to Florida, which is pretty frequent, we usually check in on him, bring him meals, fix whatever he needs around the house, etc. My mother-in-law has been over to our house in Florida many times when we still lived there. She has been hinting recently that since she is retiring soon, she wants to move into the house and rent from us, which both my wife and I think is a bad idea because my mother-in-law is saying she'll pay rent now, but we both know that's not going to stick for long before she starts living there, rent-free because we are family. My mother-in-law has also mentioned to other people in the family that once Hubert isn't renting the house anymore, which won't be very long because of how frail he is, she plans on arranging with my wife and I to move in. Last week, my mother-in-law saw Hubert very briefly while we stopped by the house so I can fix something for him. My mother-in-law commented in the car ride back that Hubert is looking more frail, it's too dangerous for him to be living on his own, and that I need to prepare for when he moves out if something happens. That comment rubs me the wrong way because I know exactly where she is going with this. So I told her to mind her own business and Hubert can die in the house if he wants to. I am not asking him to move out, and it's really none of her concern. My mother-in-law then said, God wouldn't want me speaking to an elder in that manner, and I responded that God wouldn't want her banking on an elderly person to die. That made her really mad, and she hasn't spoken to me since. My wife is on my side and has spoken up for me to her mother multiple times before in the past, but for this specific situation, we both have pre-discussed and agreed I would take a bit more of the heat and the lead in saying no. We are not entertaining. My mother-in-law wanting Hubert to move out. Was I a jerk for my response? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Renting to family is always a bad idea. That she's rabidly watching an elderly gentleman deteriorate, waiting for her chance to pounce, is disgusting and shows a lot about the kind of person she is. Comment 2. Not the idiot. It seems like your mother-in-law is intrusive and entitled. You and your wife have a coping strategy in place, and it worked as you agreed. Invoking God in this scene is hilarious. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Your comment was spot on. Here's hoping Hubert lives until he's 100. Now, for the update. First off, Hubert's health took a surprising turn for the better. Turns out, his frailty wasn't as bad as we thought. A mix-up in medication was to blame. Once corrected, he began to bounce back with an energy we hadn't seen in months. But here's the twist. Hubert, who's generally a private man, confided in us during one of our visits that he's reconnected with an old flame, a woman he'd lost touch with decades ago. Apparently, they rekindled their relationship over social media, of all things, and she lives just 2 towns over. Now, here's the shocker. Hubert announced that he's decided to move out of our rental property to move in with her. He was so grateful for our care and support, but felt it was time to start this new chapter. We were stunned but happy for him, until we remembered the mother-in-law situation. As fate would have it, with Hubert's plans to move out now real, my mother-in-law caught wind of it. Hubert may have innocently mentioned it to a neighbor who then told someone else, and so on. She showed up on our doorstep, smug as can be, assuming Hubert's departure meant she could swoop in. Except we had already decided, after the last conversation, that we would not rent to her under any circumstances. The confrontation was epic. Voices were raised, accusations hurled, and in the heat of the argument, my wife and I stood our ground. We explained that we were looking to sell the property instead, something we hadn't even considered until we needed a solid reason to deter her entitlement. The look on her face was a mix of shock and betrayal. But wait, there's more. Amidst this family feud, we received an offer on the property from a young couple starting their lives together, eager to put down roots in Florida. This was the kind of fresh energy we wanted to pass the house on to, not the negative, entitled drama my mother-in-law would bring. We accepted the offer, and the process is moving swiftly. Hubert is thrilled for us and has been a gem throughout the entire process, even offering to help the new buyers understand the quirks of the old place before he leaves. Needless to say, my mother-in-law is now not speaking to us or her daughter. It's a painful price to pay, but we're hoping with time she'll come around. As for us, we're just relieved this chapter is closing with less drama than when it began, and happier for Hubert, who's got a new lease on life. It's bizarre how things work out sometimes. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Your property, your choice. It's great that Hubert's doing better and you're under no obligation to hold the property for your mother-in-law. If she really wanted it, she should have made an offer. You did what's best for you and the property got a lovely new beginning with the young couple. Plus, Hubert is being a gem about it. Comment 2. You're the idiot. Selling the property out from under your mother-in-law after she expressed interest is a low blow. Family should come first, and it sounds like you didn't even give her a chance to make an offer. Communication is key in families, and it seems like you dropped the ball on that front. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Just because someone is family doesn't entitle them to special treatment regarding big decisions like real estate. You acted in your own financial interest, which is totally valid. And kudos for not getting sucked into unnecessary drama. Plus, it's heartwarming to see Hubert so supportive and helping the new owners. It's a win-win all around. Now for the next story. I, 36-year-old female, and my husband, 31-year-old male, are in the process of moving into my parents' old house as they're retiring to Florida. This house holds a lot of sentimental value for me, as I've spent my entire life here. My younger sister, 22-year-old female, currently lives with our parents, but she has flat out refused to join them in Florida and wants to stay in our hometown. Here's where the issue arises. She asked to stay with my husband and me, and I said no. This will be the first time my partner and I are living in our dream home together, and we're also gearing up for the exciting journey of starting a family. We've been planning this for years and want to create a positive environment for our future child. I love my sister, but I don't want her living with us. She claims it's unfair and rude, and she hasn't spoken to me in weeks. My mother, 60 years old, believes I'm being cruel, but my husband and I see it differently. My sister, unfortunately, doesn't have a place to stay, but I believe she's old enough to figure it out herself. Am I the idiot for not allowing her to stay with us during this crucial time in our lives? Edit. For some reason, I typed mother-in-law instead of just my mother before. Typo LMAO hubby and I are being given the house. Another reason we don't want my sister moving in is because she has bipolar disorder, and my husband can't deal with her erratic mood swings based on what he's seen from her over the years. And I've been dealing with her episodes my whole life, and I can't handle it anymore. Now, for a few comments before the update. Well, actually, this post didn't have any comments. Now, for the update. After a lot of inner turmoil and lengthy discussions with my husband, I have an update that's been months in the making, and I think it's finally time to share it with everyone here. So much has changed since I last wrote about the situation with my sister. First and foremost, I've come to realize that family isn't about convenience. It's about compassion and understanding, particularly when it comes to mental health. This realization hit me hard after a particularly emotional family gathering where my sister broke down and expressed how lost she felt. Seeing her in that state was a wake-up call, and my husband and I started to educate ourselves on bipolar disorder. We attended therapy sessions to better understand her condition and learned about how we could support her while also setting boundaries that would allow us to maintain our own mental health and the peaceful home environment we desired. After a lot of groundwork, we invited my sister to stay with us, but with a few conditions. We agreed that she would continue her treatment, adhere to a routine that supported her well-being, and contribute around the house within her capability. She was grateful for the second chance and agreed to the terms. It wasn't all smooth sailing, but the past few months have been transformative. My sister has been consistent with her treatment and is now thriving in ways we hadn't seen in years. She's landed a part-time job that she enjoys and has started to take art classes, which has always been a passion of hers. We've seen a new side of her that is responsible, caring, and incredibly supportive. Her presence has added a layer of joy to our home, and she's become an integral part of our lives. As my pregnancy progressed, she's been there every step of the way, helping me with chores and planning for the baby. Our parents have noticed the change too, and are relieved that both their daughters are under the same roof, looking out for each other. Mom has even apologized for her initial reaction. She sees now that my husband and I needed time to come to terms with the situation in our own way. Last weekend, we turned our parents' old study into a cozy art studio for my sister. The look on her face when we revealed it to her was priceless. It was a perfect moment of gratitude and love. Our home is filled with her artwork now, and it feels like her spirit has breathed fresh life into these old walls. And just a couple of days ago, my sister sat beside me, holding my hand as I went into labor. She welcomed her new niece into the world with tears and laughter, promising to be the best aunt ever. I have no doubt that she will be. It's been a journey of patience and growth for all of us. Through understanding and learning to communicate our needs, we've found a balance that allows us to live together harmoniously. This house, which holds so many memories of our past, is now a home filled with hope for our future. Now, for the comments. Comment 1. You're the idiot for setting conditions on your sister moving in. She's family and dealing with enough as it is. She should feel unconditional support, especially from you. Mental health is a journey, and she doesn't need the added pressure of your terms to worry about. It's like you're holding her recovery ransom for a place to stay. You should have opened your doors with no strings attached. Comment 2. Not the idiot at all. You're doing a great thing. Education is key in understanding mental health issues, and it sounds like you've gone the extra mile to support your sister. Setting conditions isn't harsh, it's a way to ensure there's structure, and it seems to have paid off. Your sister getting treatment, finding a job, and being creative is huge. Plus, she's helping you too? That's a win-win in my book. Comment 3. Not the idiot, and kudos to you for attending therapy to better understand bipolar disorder. That's a level of commitment and empathy that not everyone is willing to demonstrate. You've not only provided a safe space for your sister, but also involved her in your life's important moments. That's beautiful, and it's clear your actions have helped foster a nurturing environment where everyone thrives. Keep it up. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.